and Darnold hit a couple of big plays. Thus, that was the ball game. So Jacksonville back down to earth, right? They're not going to be told how great they are this week as they lose to Seattle 14-7. So we will certainly spend a lot of time on the outcome yesterday. A little Monday night coaching with Campo. My buddy Dave Campo, former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, will join me to recap yesterday, to take a look ahead to Los Angeles on Sunday over at Wembley Stadium in London. And if that wasn't bad enough, the Jaguars losing at home yesterday in the fashion that they did, boy, what a football weekend in Northeast Florida. Florida State loses to a true freshman quarterback at home who was making his second career start. They're now 3-3, and any hope they had for an ACC title is over. And Florida does what Florida does. They lose football games. They're now 11-16 in SEC play under Billy Napier. They're 21-23 overall under Billy Napier. And maybe the most concerning thing, they're now 14-22, 8 games under 500 against Power 4 competition. So we will talk about Billy Napier in Florida. No, we're not going to break down Mississippi State because at this point, who really cares? I'm going to have Andrew Spivey, GatorCountry.com, on. He's one of my guys down in Gainesville. And I'm just going to flat out ask him, why has Scott Strickland not fired Billy Napier? What is the holdup, and who ultimately will replace Billy Napier at the University of Florida? That conversation will come up towards the top of the 9 o'clock hour. We're absolutely loaded. We're glad you're with us on a Monday here on Hacker After Dark. Every night on HAD, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night. And Dylan Denmark, let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
Okay. Jacksonville yesterday. Again, it's hard to be upset, right? And in the big picture, and I feel I should have picked Seattle. If you listened to me last Thursday, I even said that I was ready to pick Seattle, but that the Greg Newsome trade I thought was going to light a fire under this team. Yeah, it lit something under him, to the tune of a 61-yard Jackson Smith and Jigba touchdown. Now, again, I don't know if that was necessarily all Greg Newsome's fault. There was some miscommunication there. But clearly Seattle's biggest play of the game came on Greg Newsome's first snap as a Jaguar defensive back. That was not a good look. The only silver lining in that whole situation was that Tyson Campbell was equally as bad up in Cleveland yesterday trying to guard DK Metcalf. So it's not as if Newsome became burnt toast here on that play and Campbell shined in Cleveland, because Campbell did not shine in Cleveland yesterday, if that is any consolation. Look, 4-2, right? It's hard to be upset at 4-2. If you would have told me, if you would have told Denmark, if you would have told you, Jaguar Nation out there in Northeast Florida, back on Labor Day, that when they board an airplane to go to Wembley Stadium to get ready for Week 7 against the LA Rams, knowing they had games against Cincinnati, Houston, San Francisco, Kansas City, and Seattle. And if you would have said, hey, they're going to be 4-2 going to Wembley Stadium. Not one of you listening right now, not one, would not have signed on the dotted line for that. And if you say you wouldn't have, well, to be honest, I don't believe you. I think anybody that's followed this football team, if I would have said, yeah, they're going to have as many wins in 2025 as they did in 2024, and they're going to do it by Week 7, you would have taken that. And that's the position they're in. The bottom line is it's October the 13th, middle portion of October, and they're in the mix. They're in the conversation. If the playoffs started today, 6 weeks in, the Jacksonville Jaguars would be in the postseason. So that's your glass half full approach. I'll give you a little bit more glass half full approach. Think about all the nonsense that happened yesterday. You miss an extra point and you miss a field goal. That's concerning. Cam Little might want to think about making a kick at Wembley Stadium, or else I believe the Jaguars might bring in at least some competition for the practice squad for him during the bye week. But you miss an extra point and a field goal yesterday. You allow a 61-yard touchdown to Jackson Smith and Jigba. You have a key drop on third down. You commit penalty after penalty after penalty. You get a 54-yard touchdown called back because of a penalty. It was a comedy of errors at times yesterday. A comedy of errors. Chuma Edoga committed 2 penalties consecutively and got pulled from the game. Literally benched after committing back-to-back penalties. You see that in high school, right? You don't really see that in the NFL. And yet, despite all that, it was 20-12 with 3.5 minutes to go, and the Jaguars had the football. Now, I say all that not to make you feel better about the situation. I say all that because that's real. That's factual. That all happened yesterday. But what else happened is really concerning to me. What was the biggest concern that most of us had about this Jaguar football team coming into the year? Yeah, you can be concerned about Trevor and the lack of pass rush. You can be concerned about, skill position behind Brian Thomas. But I think if we would have taken a vote when training camp started, what are you most concerned about with this Jaguar football team? I think what would have won that at the time was the offensive line. I think there was a lot of questions about the offensive line. There was questions about Walker Little and Anton Harrison and Robert Hainsey and Macari. Remember, we had already benched Ezra Cleveland before training camp even started. Remember that? 5 weeks into the season, the offensive line had gone from the most concerning thing to maybe the most pleasant surprise. They had played fantastic for the most part. They were bad yesterday. I mean, bad. There's a video walking around or circulating around on social media. I tweeted it out. It's from our buddy Seth Payne, former Jaguar defensive tackle. If you look at the all-22, the sack, I don't even know the guy's name, 42 on the Seahawks, backup linebacker. Completely threw Walker Little out of the way like he was a sack of potatoes. Threw Walker Little out of the way like he wasn't even there. Your starting left tackle got absolutely obliterated by their backup linebacker. There was plenty of blame to go around. It wasn't just Walker Little. I didn't think Anton Harrison played pretty well, and he got 2 penalties that cost the Jaguars good plays each time. I thought Macari struggled. I actually thought Monheim, the rookie center, I thought he was okay, all things considering, being in for the injured Robert Hainsey. I didn't notice Ezra Cleveland a bunch, but I would bet he probably didn't play well either. PFF, the analytics website, yesterday afternoon said 33 pressures on Trevor Lawrence and 7 sacks. I saw ESPN Stats and Info had it towards like the 25 pressure mark and 7 sacks. Here's what you need to know. No offensive line in the National Football League in the last 3 years. The last 3 years, no offensive line in 3 years of football games allowed as many pressures as the Jacksonville Jaguars did yesterday. You want to talk about when you're on that flight to London this week, when you're practicing, getting ready for the LA Rams, and Jared Verse and Young and Turner and all those guys on the Rams front 7, Braden Fisk. This offensive line needs to take a hard look in the mirror because what happened yesterday is unacceptable. What happened yesterday will not get it done. And if that continues, it's going to be a long last 11 games for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That was pitiful yesterday. Here's the situation. Here's the overview of where the Jaguars are. They got pushed around by the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle was the better football team. They won the line of scrimmage. They hit more big plays. Sam Darnold was the better quarterback. Seattle absolutely earned that victory because they outplayed the Jacksonville Jaguars at Everbank Stadium on Sunday. That's true, and that's factual. You take a deep breath from that, you decompress, 24-hour rule. The Jaguars are 4-2, which is way better than I had them through 6 games, probably better than you had them as well. It's October 13th, and the Jaguars are right in the thick of it in the AFC playoff picture. They would be in the playoffs if the playoffs started today. They've surpassed a lot of expectations, but they got to get back to the drawing board. That's all factual as well. Both can be true. Yesterday was embarrassing. Yes, it was. 4-2 is still a very good start after 6 games. Yes, it is. The question now, back to the adversity. Can they handle adversity? Because, brother, you got some adversity after yesterday. And maybe it's good they're going to go to London for a week. Team bonding or whatever you want to call it. Hope they have a lot of mirrors there. Because a lot of guys need to take a good, hard look in that mirror based on that performance against Seattle. And they need to change what happened on Sunday very, very quickly. And they will get that opportunity at Wembley Stadium Sunday against the LA Rams. We'll talk more about the game. We'll talk more about individual issues. We'll talk more about special teams or the lack thereof. We'll hear from Jaguar head coach Liam Cohen. And again, the head coach Dave Campo, a little Monday night coaching with Campo. The coach joins me in less than 20 minutes. A Monday evening in Northeast Florida. By the way, we do have a doubleheader, right? Monday Night Football. I guess it's a 2-gamer. Both games, one's underway. How about the Atlanta Falcons? 21-7. The Falcons lead Buffalo. 11 minutes to go, second quarter. Bijan Robinson, 7 carries, $121, and a touchdown. Drake London, 5 grabs, 64 yards, and a touchdown. Buffalo down 2 scores, 11 minutes to go, second quarter. We'll keep you updated. Also, the Commanders and the Bears, the rematch of the Hail Mary from last year. That game will kick off in a matter of moments. Jacksonville, we're glad you're with us. Let's talk more Jaguars next, right here on Hacker After Dark.
Sometimes it's an offensive show.
You gotta be kidding me.
Sometimes it's a show of offensive discipline.
There are no words.
Listen for the Universal Roof and Contracting Offensive Player of the Game on 1010XL.
Strap in, Duval. The Jaguars are gearing up to face the Los Angeles Chargers Sunday, November 16th for our annual Salute to Service game. Join us as we honor and celebrate the brave men and women of our military all game long. Secure your seats now and be a part of the action by visiting jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. Let's stand together, Duval.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. Hacker here for the best weight loss program that I've ever been on. Awaken 180 is life-changing, man. And what's life-changing about it is really the guidance you get, the teaching you get from your coach. I met with my coach, Kate, every week when I was on Awaken 180. I still meet with her periodically about once or twice a month now that I'm on the maintenance program. They give you the guidance, the tutelage you need to not only drop the weight, but allow yourself to keep the weight off as you progress through life. And now in the month of October, if you give Awaken 180 a call, you will get a free consultation. A free consultation with Awaken 180. If it's time for you to drop the weight like it was for me, get involved with Awaken 180 in the month of October, and you will get a free consultation. Guys, call 844-346-1800 or go to awaken180weightloss.com. Do what I did. If it's time for you to drop the weight, it's time for Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Julington Creek Pest Control has been serving our community since 1984. Our turf management program is an all-out blitz, granular fertilization, weed and insect control, keeping your lawn championship green all year. Quarterly pest control stops bugs before they ever cross your goal line. Family-owned, locally operated, expert technicians, top-quality products, no gimmicks, just winning results. Julington Creek Pest Control, our family serving yours since 1984.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal, you look troubled. Is something bugging you?
This friendship isn't all upside for me, Jason. People keep asking me stuff about you.
They ask you about me?
Is it really cooler with Bueller, they ask? So I say, totally. And they say, how do you mean that? And I say, he fixes air conditioners, which literally makes somebody cool. But he also has cool sunglasses and cool people and a cool family.
And I try to make working at Bueller Air and Plumbing a really cool experience for our technicians and plumbers. We treat our people like gold, and they treat our homeowners the exact same way.
Great. Well, now there's another cool thing I've got to remember. This is a lot of responsibility, Jason.
Life can get hectic sometimes. If you don't take a moment to slow down and appreciate all the cool parts, you could miss it.
Do people ask you about me at all?
Weirdly, they do.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
You already know it's your main man E to the T here for Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree draft. And with ball season here, make sure you're on the lookout for my instant reaction before, during, or after the game. All brought to you by Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree drafts. Come on, somebody.
Grab your cowboy hat for the Beach Barbecue Bash, presented by Sunshine State Plumbing and Reliable Ducks. Thursday, October 30th. Live music, sizzling barbecue, and Southern Charm, supporting Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida. Get tickets at bgcnf.org.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you become more active, reach your weight loss goals, and find your inner strength. Membership at the Y includes state-of-the-art facilities, a huge variety of fitness classes, and programs for all ages. It's easy to join the Y since it's affordable for all incomes. The Y is a great place to make connections and experience something new. Visit the YMCA near you or online at fcymca.org.
Joe C. from XL Primetime will be live from Lifetime Enclosures and Flooring this Thursday from noon to 2 for the upcoming huge weekend. Big sale at Lifetime Enclosures and Flooring. Come on by, though, during XLP Thursday from noon to 2 and get locked in on some huge savings.
Introducing your new Dell PC with the Intel Core Ultra processor. It helps you handle a lot, even when your holiday to-do list gets to be a lot. Like organizing your holiday shopping and searching for great holiday deals and customer questions and customers requesting custom things, plus planning the perfect holiday dinner for vegans, vegetarians, pescatarians, and Uncle Mike's carnivore diet. Luckily, you can get a PC with all-day battery life to help you get it all done. That's the power of a Dell PC with Intel inside, backed by Dell's price match guarantee. Get yours today at Dell.com/deals. Terms and conditions apply. See Dell.com for details.
The holidays are here, full of joy, family, friends, and yes, a little hustle and bustle. That's why you need Aleve. Between cooking, shopping, and all those extra errands, aches and pains can sneak in. Aleve is here to help with long-lasting body pain relief. Don't let body pain slow you down. With up to 12 hours of body pain relief per dose, you can keep up with the season's magic and all that awaits. Pick up Aleve and get back to what really matters, making memories. Use as directed.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
I still have confidence. I thought he did some really good things. Obviously, I had the huge touchdown negated by the penalty. He knows he's got to make that play on the third down, and we got to make sure that we're continuing to put him in a position to be successful, to do what these guys do best, and start to really focus in on those things, and maybe not ask them to do some things that, they're not doing at a high level right now, and only have those guys do what they're truly doing best, and that's on us as coaches too.
The thoughts of Jaguar head coach Liam Cohen talking about his confidence in Brian Thomas Jr. after yesterday's 20-12 loss to the Seattle Seahawks. Thank you to our friends at Jaguars.com. My thoughts on BTJ, he had his best game of the year. Now, I know people were talking about the drop on third down. You could also say, well, he had a 54-yard touchdown negated by Travis Hunter lining up a foot offsides. So maybe those cancel each other out. I mean, he had 8 grabs for 90 yards and a touchdown. In reality, if Travis Hunter is a foot back, he would have had 9 catches for 144 yards and 2 touchdowns. It's kind of hard to critique somebody when they put up those type of numbers. Clearly his best game of the year as a member of the Jaguars. But, boy, they just didn't go to a lot of other guys down the field. I mean, Travis Hunter, 7 targets. He had 4 catches for 15 yards. There's going to be some conversation about why aren't they going downfield more. Now, yesterday was a little bit odd because they didn't really have time to go downfield because the Seattle defense was in the backfield basically every time Trevor Lawrence was throwing the football. I was so surprised by that because, again, I know how good DeMarcus Lawrence is. I know how good Leonard Williams is. I mean, they got some really good players. Really good players. But, man, this Jaguar offensive line had been pretty good. Remember, it was 2 weeks ago that San Francisco literally did not touch Trevor Lawrence. Not only was there not a quarterback sack, they didn't lay a finger on him. They didn't even have register a quarterback hit the entire game. And now here we are 14 days later, and statistically, it was one of the worst offensive line performances in the NFL pass blocking that we've seen in the last 3 or 4 years. Liam Cohen was asked earlier today down at the Miller Electric Center why the O-line struggled the way they did against Seattle yesterday.
We knew that they had a good front for sure, and but we definitely did not play our best up front in terms of the level of physicality in the run game, but also in obviously in pass protection. We were just catching a little bit, not throwing our hands and playing stout in some of our pass protection. We were just giving up a little bit too much ground at times. I do think Jonah came in and actually played pretty well. I mean, we didn't have that's going to be the thing. Like, people are going to say, well, that was the one change up, right? But that was actually, he played pretty well. And we need those other guys to continue to step up around him and play a little bit better, right? At the end of the day, we did not play well enough up front. It starts there.
I agree. Look, I thought Jonah Monheim, all things considered, played all right. I know that's what everybody's going to point to, but I had certainly not as much issue with Monheim as I did a couple of the other guys, particularly Walker Little. I thought it was a bad day for Walker Little. Let's call it what it was. It was a bad day at the office for Walker Little. Hopefully he can shake the cobwebs off and get back to it this week because they're going to need him against Jared Verse and that Rams defense. But Walker Little, I mean, there's no two ways around it. He just simply has to play better. Again, those thoughts of Liam Cohen, courtesy of Jaguars.com. More from Liam in 1 second. I'll say this, too. I've been lucky enough to be on radio here in Jacksonville since I was 18 years old, 23 years and change for me. And I'd like to think that I've seen a lot of things in my time here. Jaguars.com and the Jaguar multimedia platform and Liam Cohen himself, and I imagine with that, James Gladstone, Tony Baselli, the new regime, letting those cameras into a losing locker room and filming the message that a coach gives a team after a loss is unbelievable in a positive way. The craziness of that access. There's a 2-minute clip that the Jaguars put out yesterday evening. I retweeted it. It's gotten retweeted hundreds or thousands of times, or at least viewed. It's probably over 1 million by now. I'm sure you've seen it. If you hadn't, it's very easy to find. Denmark, am I wrong? I mean, you don't see that. I mean, NFL teams do not allow cameras into their locker room after a loss. And for the Jaguars to kind of be the trendsetter in that, maybe it'll happen more. I just think the raw, genuine emotion of a coach talking to a team after a loss, I was captivated by that last night, man. I thought that was incredible.
Yeah, it's I wonder if it's because they're a little younger, Cohen and Gladstone, and they know that, a lot of fans, as compared to, even 10 years ago, see that stuff more. Yeah, it is kind of weird that you get to see that even after a loss, because after a loss, coaches don't want to usually speak.
No.
And they want to be in their inner circle, and they want to move on and, be done with their day. Doing that is a lot different than anything that, I can speak to.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it on social. In the age of social media, I've never seen cameras allowed into now, winning NFL locker rooms, you see them in there all the time. But I've never seen cameras in a losing NFL locker room to hear the coach's speech, if you will, to the players. And again, 2 thumbs way up for Cohen and Gladstone and Baselli and Jaguars.com and everybody that either allows that to happen or films that and puts it online. Absolutely incredible. Liam Cohen also today talked about, look, I mean, the defense yesterday was by and large pretty good. I had very little issue with about 85% of what the defense did yesterday. The problem, of course, is when you allow a 61-yard touchdown, you allow another 60-yard play that basically ices the game. Cooper Kupp got loose a couple times. Man, those 4 or 5 explosive plays by the opposing offense are killing this Jaguar defense, and Liam Cohen talked about that earlier.
You know, we let the ball get thrown over our heads a few times. That's a tough world if you let up 2 60-yarders. And then I will say this, Seattle did a great job of calling their shots against the exact coverages that you would want those plays to be drawn up in. You know, tough one on obviously the post that went, but they hit us on a couple overs to Kupp and one to JSN on the over versus 3 deep got us. We stopped the run the way we wanted to. We won 3rd down. Played stout in the red area on the 1 3rd down where they ran it, and we got it made them kick a field goal. We did some really good things, but ultimately those big plays, man, they're killing us.
There's no doubt. The Jackson Smith and Jigba touchdown, that was a game-changing play, a game-altering play. Final thought from Liam Cohen. The Jaguars, I believe, are in the air right now, or they will be shortly. They're flying to London tonight. Going to obviously get over there tomorrow, get settled in, and hit the ground running Wednesday for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday practice. Cohen was asked earlier about the trip to London and if this is the perfect time to go following yesterday's loss.
What a perfect time for this to come up. We're coming off of a tough loss, and we've got to face a little adversity as a team. Well, now we're together for an extended period of time in a new setting, in a different place. Obviously, this organization has had a lot of familiarity with making this trip, and I think our ops, travel, everybody that is involved in it is, really gets it. They just get it. They know how to do this trip. So that gave me a lot of confidence to be able to move and say, look, let's go early.
Again, the thoughts of Jaguar head coach Liam Cohen earlier today at the Miller Electric Center. Those cuts courtesy of our friends at Jaguars.com. Monday Night Football, Atlanta still leading 21-7 over the Buffalo Bills. And, in fact, the Falcons are driving again. They got the ball in Buffalo territory at the Bills' 39. They got a 3rd down here, already up 2 touchdowns, about 3 minutes and change to go until halftime. Michael Penix, they're going to come up just short. We'll see if they'll kick a field goal or go for it, but a field goal would put them up 17. A great start by the Falcons right now. And the Commanders and the Bears are underway. The rematch of the Hail Mary from last year. Bears took the opening kickoff, drove it down, and got a field goal. They lead Washington 3-0, although the Commanders are driving at the Bears 34. We will keep you updated on both games. Coming up next, a little Monday night coaching with Campo. My buddy Dave Campo, former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. He joins us, well, at least weekly, if not bi-weekly, here on Hacker After Dark. We get the coach usually every 2 weeks. On special occasions, we get him every week, now that he's relocated to Dallas. And I thought tonight would be one of those special additions. Let's talk about the loss, right? We got to talk about that. I want to talk about London, and I want to talk about the McVay-Cohen situation. Sean McVay knows Liam Cohen. Liam Cohen knows Sean McVay. From a coaching standpoint, how much will that matter come Sunday at Wembley Stadium? We'll talk to Dave Campo about all that next, right here on Hacker After Dark.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just the job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Mike Dempsey for Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jacksonville Beach. If your roof's got any damage, if it leaks, if it's just old and ugly, call my friends at Apex Roofing. But Mike, roofs are so expensive. It's true, quality roofing is not cheap, but Apex Roofing has up to 100% financing available, so you don't have to compromise quality for budget. Apex Roofing, no shortcuts, no stress, just quality work with financing available. Reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacksonville Beach. ApexRoofingFL.com.
Post-game Monday on 1010XL is served by Dandy Foods, making quality fresh sandwiches since 1956.
It's the event everyone waits for. Now at Beard's Diamonds. Buy one, get one free on all wedding bands. Now for a limited time, when you buy his wedding band, get hers free. Buy hers, get his free. Save up to $10,000. Are you about to get married or been married for years thinking it's time for an upgrade? There's nothing that symbolizes your love more than the wedding band. Beard's has hundreds and hundreds of bands from top designers in white gold, yellow gold, rose gold, titanium, platinum, plain bands, channel set bands, pave set, eternity bands. And for men, masculine bands. Wide, modern, with and without diamonds, hammered, brushed, engraved, lots of colors. Come to Beard's now and find the wedding band that reflects your style and your personality. Buy one, get the second one free. The big box corporate jewelry stores can't or won't do this, but Beard's can. And it's happening now through October 26th. Buy one wedding band, get the second one free. Don't miss this opportunity to celebrate your eternal love with the eternal symbol. Beard's Diamonds at St. John's Town Center.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the Southeast to offer multi-unit hair grafting and the 45-minute PRP treatments. Grow your hair back. Call now for a free in-person evaluation. 904-777-IHRS. 904-777-4477 or visit hairforme.com.
Here's your 1010XL community calendar of local events and nonprofit groups helping people here at home.
It's an evening of connection, laughter, and friendly competition, celebrating the creativity and resilience of our community with costumes, bowling, and prizes. To find out more about the Community Bowling Costume Party October 24th, contact Rebel Recovery.
If you'd like to help dogs find new homes, you can enjoy food, drinks, music, and of course, dogs at the Fall Fermi Festival, November 8th. Find out more at kprok9.com.
Find out how you can be part of the cure for blood cancer at the Light the Night Walk at ViStar Ballpark November 22nd. Take the first step at lightthenight.org.
The Hometown for Heroes Home Buyers Program helps you get your down payment and closing costs paid. Call to learn more. 574-7180.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com.
Brackish Vodka, the spirit of the sportsman and proud partner of the Jaguars, is now available at the Fresh Market Spirits and Wine. The Fresh Market Spirits and Wine is a new adult beverage store offering spirits, wine, beer, and accessories at A1A North in Ponte Vedra, a first-of-its-kind destination for thoughtfully curated spirits, wine, and beer as only the Fresh Market can. And now, you can get Brackish Vodka at the Fresh Market. Brackish Vodka, for whatever your sport is. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars now 4-2 on the year after their loss yesterday to the Seattle Seahawks. They are getting on an airplane, probably right about now, as a matter of fact. They're flying tonight over to London, England, where they will spend this week getting ready for the 4-2 Los Angeles Rams. Let's recap Seattle. Let's look big picture, and let's look ahead to a very big game against the LA Rams with the head coach, Dave Campo. It's always Monday night coaching with Campo here on Hacker After Dark. Coach, how are you, my friend?
Well, obviously I'm good, but I'm disappointed, in the way the game went yesterday, as I'm sure you are and the fans are and the team is, So other than that, though, everything is good.
You know, what was disappointing, Coach, is the Jaguars for the first time this year, they got beat up on the lines of scrimmage. Let's start with the offensive line. That was horrible yesterday, right? I mean, there's no real point in sugarcoating it. That was really, really bad.
Well, the interesting thing is last week, with Seattle, they didn't do a very good job of rushing the passer, and I think they really got after them. That, hey, we need to get going. So, in this ball game against us, they cranked it up, and they, DeMarcus Lawrence wasn't there. DeMarcus Lawrence is an outstanding player now. We got to make sure we understand that. But it looked like they physically handled us yesterday, and that's disappointing. And unfortunately, it didn't bode well for us. They ran good games. They blitzed. We had some pickup issues with the backs, with changing formations or changing plays. I think all that stuff kind of came to a head yesterday, and unfortunately, we didn't handle it very well up front.
For the first 4 weeks of the year, the Jaguars had one of the best rushing attacks in the National Football League. The last two games, that has not been the case. Travis Etienne in this running game has just simply not gotten it done. Now, a lot of that maybe is the offensive line, but what has gone wrong in the running game the last 2 weeks, Coach?
Well, I think, number one, teams have come in defensively with the idea that, these guys are a good rushing football team. We have to make sure we take care of that. So some of it is the mindset of the defense, and some of it is, maybe these defensive lines are a little better that they're coming up against now. But, I look back at Kansas City. They've got a good defensive line. This team has a good defensive line that we played. That factors in. The biggest thing to me, though, Hack, is no matter whether they rush the ball for 150 yards or whether they rush it for 50 yards, they have to keep that going. And I was a little disappointed when I heard Liam Cohen say in a press conference where he said, well, we came into the game thinking that we were going to throw the football. I don't think you can go into any game with that mindset. I think you have to go into every game with it being balanced. And I don't think, the biggest part of balance is stick with the run. No matter what the situation, you have to be able to play action, because I don't think we're good enough to line up and drop back 37, 40 times a game and win football games.
The head coach, Dave Campo, with us here on Hacker After Dark. I thought the running game, it really looked like they missed Robert Hainsey and Brenton Strange yesterday. We'll see what Hainsey's availability is for Sunday. We know Brenton won't be back for another couple of weeks at least. The passing game, I thought Brian Thomas Jr., albeit he did have the one drop on third down, which is certainly important, but all in all, 10 targets, 8 catches, 90 yards, and a touchdown. It was his best game of the year to this point. Coach, Travis Hunter was targeted 7 times. He caught 4 of them, but just for 15 yards. Are they not using Travis Hunter properly?
Well, again, I think when you look at Travis Hunter, it's a work in progress. It doesn't seem to me that they're taking shots right now to anybody. It looks like, unfortunately, there were a couple situations with Brian Thomas where he could have made plays that he didn't make. One of them, he stumbled out of the break. It would have been wide open. And then the drop was a big one, in my opinion. So I think Brian has come on. I think Hunter, it's a work in progress. I think they have to utilize him a little bit more on the deep ball, because I think he can run by some people. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with more opportunities. And some of it could be that playing both ways, they're going about it very slowly in what they're allowing him to be involved in.
Again, only 4 catches for 15 yards for Travis Hunter. Defensively, Coach, we'll get to the secondary in a moment. What was also disheartening was, like we said, not only did the Jaguar offensive line get beat up, the Jaguar defensive line did not affect Sam Darnold at all. The only reason they got a couple of sacks, or I guess 1 sack, was on some blitz packages. They're going to have to do more of that, or they're going to have to go do something at the trade deadline, or something's going to have to change, because they only got 17% pressure on Sam Darnold dropbacks yesterday, which I believe is their worst percentage of the year to this point.
Yeah, again, you said it at the beginning of the show. We got beat up on both sides of the line of scrimmage, not in the run game, but in the pass rush game. There's no question about it. My initial impression right after the game was over, and I love Anthony Campanile, what he's doing. I think he's a good coach. I think he has the guys playing extremely hard. I think he waited a little bit too long to go after this team. And again, remember, they only scored 20 points now. And I mean, it's not like they just kicked our tail on offense. But really, I just felt like when he did start with his blitz package, they made progress in the second half. I think he should have probably pulled the trigger a little earlier because we certainly didn't get there with 4. That's for sure.
Let's get to your bread and butter, the defensive backfield. Look, it was a terrible look. Greg Newsome's first play as a Jaguar is a 61-yard touchdown to Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think, and there's been a lot of people that have talked about this, that there was probably a miscommunication back there. Was he expecting safety help over the top? That certainly is a thought. Speaking of the safeties, another common thought from the game is that it was a bad day at the office at the safety position for the Jaguars. What was your opinion?
Well, first of all, they were in quarter coverage on the one to Newsome, okay, meaning that they had 4 deep. They had guys over 4 receivers. The safety was on the inside guy. The corner was on the outside guy. I can't really explain it, but I can say one thing. We brought that coverage into the league. That's how long it's been out there. And the one thing I have never liked about what they're doing today is they're expecting safety help. So they're playing outside leverage with the corners. And some of it is because one of the things they do is they call it palms or whatever, where the corner reads, he's outside leverage on that wide receiver, and he reads number 2. If number 2 goes to the flat, they roll and the safety comes up over the top. But if they go vertical, he has to cover it. The problem with that is that there are quarter beaters, and the quarter beater is one that they used on that play. They took number 2 and ran him straight down at the safety, and the safety, had to stay over the top of him, so he was absolutely no help, and they ran a post on Newsome. That can't happen. When we brought the coverage in, the corner played inside leverage in quarters, and he had 2 things to cover the post and the takeoff. If they throw it out on you, they throw it out on you and run another coverage. So I just don't like the way they're playing it in the league right now, and I think that can happen on any down.
Final moments with the head coach, Dave Campo. Coach, I want to preview Los Angeles over at Wembley Stadium in London in a moment. Quickly, are you concerned about Cam Little moving forward?
You know what? I get a little nervous. Sometimes those guys are like golfers. Sometimes you can lose their swing. And, that's a little concerning because now I think he's missed 3 out of the last 4 or something like that.
I think he's missed 3 field goals and 1 extra point this year so far.
Yeah. And that's concerning. But at the same time, I'm sure he's got to get out of his own head and just do what he's shown he can do. I'm not ready to give up on him right now, but I get a little nervous when they lose their stinger because I had one back when I was a head coach that did the same thing. And then the next year, he came back and kicked like 90%. So, I'm hopeful that he can, regain his confidence, and he certainly has enough leg to do it. That's for sure.
I'll tell you this. I mean, I'm not cutting him by any stretch of the imagination or any foolishness like that. But if he misses another kick against the Rams on Sunday, I'm bringing kickers in here to compete for a practice squad spot. I mean, you got to put a little pressure on him at that point if he misses again on Sunday.
Absolutely. The only problem with that hack is if he's missing field goals, he's got a lot of pressure on him already.
Yeah.
What you're doing is you're just saying, hey, you need to do what you are capable of doing. That's it. A little competition doesn't hurt anybody.
All right, leave us with this. Put the coaching hat on. Sean McVay, Liam Cohen. The guys obviously know each other very well. I mean, the general managers, good grief, James Gladstone and Les Snead obviously know each other really well. How will that dynamic play itself out on Sunday at Wembley Stadium?
Well, I think it means something. I mean, you've seen teams all the time. A guy gets cut from one team, so they bring the guy into their team to see what they know about what they did, where they just came from, right? Well, they have that situation. I mean, they know personnel, they know their people. Although, we have a lot of different personnel. I think LA is probably a little bit, the same kind of personnel that they've had. So there'll be some carryover to that. But again, Hack, I'm one to believe that every game is different. And you go into this ball game with the idea that you're going to look at them. You'll have an idea of what their thought process is by down and distance. But as far as the scheme is concerned, they just have to stop the guys that they have to stop and the plays that they have to stop.
And there's real question about the availability of Puka Nacua for Sunday. Obviously, it's very early in the week. We'll have to see how that plays out in the coming days. Coach, final question. We take a deep breath after yesterday. Yesterday sucked, but it is what it is. 4-2 through 6 games. To me, this game on Sunday is a crossroads game for the Jaguars. And what I mean by that is if you beat the Rams, you're 5-2 going into the bye. You're on top of the world. And look, everything's great. You almost forget about the Seattle loss. And you're 5-2 going into the bye. If you lose to the Rams, you're 4-3. And there are a ton of questions moving forward, knowing you have 2 road games after the bye at Vegas and then at Houston. Sunday is an enormous game for the Jaguars.
Well, that's I would have to agree with you and the theory of that. I think the biggest concern about the game for me is, everything that happened in that ball game, we beat ourselves, in my opinion. And when you beat yourself, when you line up like Hunter did, offsides, and it's on a touchdown pass, those things have got to stop. So to me, it's more important that we go into this game and clean ourselves up. That is the big thing. And if we do clean ourselves up, we'll be in the football game over there. And I think that's all you can ask for. Get me into the fourth quarter and a chance to win the game, and don't make a lot of mistakes during the game. I think we've got some things we have to clean up. Number one, I don't think you're going to have the same situation with the offensive line in this game, to be honest with you, other than way too many penalties, way too many shift problems, offsides, whatever it is. Those things have to be cleaned up. And obviously, I think we'll be in the game, and I think it'll be a good football game.
The head coach, Dave Campo, a little Monday night coaching with Campo here on Hacker After Dark. Coach, thank you as always, bud. We'll talk again soon.
Absolutely, Hack. Always a pleasure. And, go Jags next week in London.
Jaguars and Gators, pro, college, and high school sports.
Wow.
Get the most play-by-play on 1010XL, Jacksonville's play-by-play sports radio.
E to the T here, and Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find the scratch kitchen that comes through in the clutch every day, from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar. Come on, somebody.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
XL Primetime is back weekdays noon to 2, and on Wednesdays, join Dr. George Bari at 1:20 for the latest in sports injuries from all the big names in the game. Make sure you catch Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime Wednesdays at 1:20 on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Strap in, Duval. The Jaguars are gearing up to face the Los Angeles Chargers Sunday, November 16th for our annual Salute to Service game. Join us as we honor and celebrate the brave men and women of our military all game long. Secure your seats now and be a part of the action by visiting jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. Let's stand together, Duval.
Are you trapped in a high-rate mortgage, watching your hard-earned money vanish every month? Stop right now. At Loan Pronto, they are delivering the lowest mortgage rates in 3 years. Hey, Prosser here. Loan Pronto's rate reduction home loan program is a streamlined, low-cost way to slash your house payments by hundreds of dollars a month. Lock in at a fixed rate as low as 4.99% APR and close in as little as 2 weeks. No appraisal needed in most cases. And here's the kicker. You can skip your next 2 house payments entirely. Don't wait. Rates this low won't last. Call Loan Pronto now for your free, no-obligation quote. Loan Pronto is amazing. So start now by calling 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Or visit loanpronto.com to lock in your new low rate and skip those next 2 payments. 999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLS, consumeraccess.org.
Tess, what's up?
Oh, you know, the CFO needs me to book a week of travel. I'm days behind on invoices. The plants in the lobby are dying, and now I have to order lunch for 80 with gluten-free options.
Just use Easy Cater.
Easy Cater?
One platform built for workplaces. Tons of great restaurants, any group size, with tools to meet dietary needs and stay on budget. Plus, rewards.
Rewards?
You earn rewards points when you order. Good for discounts or even gift cards for you.
Now that's what's up.
Easy Cater, the easy, rewarding way to order food for work. Order now at easycater.com.
Did you know that basketball and volleyball were invented at the YMCA? That's right, and even today, the Y continues to lead the way in youth sports programming, from toddlers just starting out to teens ready to compete. The Y offers skill development, recreational play, and competitive leagues, all in a fun, supportive environment. Get your child in the game to build character and skills at the Y. Registration is now open for youth volleyball and soccer at fcymca.org.
Hey, Hicken here. Cooler weather right around the corner, but you can extend your swim season with Surfside Pools. This month, Surfside Pools offering 10% off new pool heaters or heater replacements and installation. Keep the good times rolling, no matter the season. Upgrade your pool heating system now for months of extra enjoyment. Only from Surfside Pool, the trusted name for expert pool service. Family owned and operated. Call 246-2666 or visit surfsidepools.net.
License number CPC 044080.
Get paid to lose weight in a paid obesity research study with Encore Research. If you're 18 or older with a BMI of 27 or more, you may qualify. No insurance required, no cost to you. Enroll at EncoreDocs.com or call 904-732-6669.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
2 Monday Night Football games going on. One big surprise. Well, maybe 2 big surprises, come to think of it. They are at halftime in Atlanta. Falcons 21, Bills 7. If you got Drake London in fantasy football, congratulations to you. Drake London in the first half, 9 catches for 147 yards and a touchdown. Almost had a second touchdown, but they ran out of time, literally, going to half. Bijan Robinson has 138 on the ground. So let me Denmark. So the Atlanta Falcons against the Buffalo Bills defense, 168 yards rushing in the first half, $171 on the ground. You're talking 350 yards of offense for the Atlanta Falcons, roughly 350 yards of offense. I guess 342 is the exact figure. But my goodness, what is Buffalo doing? Atlanta 21-7. We'll see if that holds in the second half. But we all know how good Josh Allen is. And Chicago up 13-0 early on Washington. Remember, this is the game and the stadium that derailed the Bears' season last year with the Hail Mary. Bears looking for a little revenge. Caleb Williams, a rushing touchdown. Chicago 13-0 over the Commanders at the beginning of the second quarter. We had a firing in the National Football League earlier today. The first coaching casualty of 2025. Brian Callahan gone in Nashville as coach of the Titans. We'll go up to Nashville later on in the week. I'm going to get Tyler Rowland of the Locked On Titans podcast to join me to talk about the Jaguars' beloved division rival and what exactly is going on up there. It's a nightmare. 4-19 was Brian Callahan's record in 23 games as coach of the Titans. He is fired. They're 1-5 this year. They should be 0-6. They won that ridiculous game against Arizona last week. But yesterday was the last straw, a lethargic, uninspired 20-10 loss to the Las Vegas Raiders. And Callahan shown the door only 6 games into year 2. Former Jaguar assistant Mike McCoy has been named the interim head coach of the Tennessee Titans. Last night, a good one between Kansas City and Detroit. Chiefs got it done, but of course there were fireworks at the end of the game. By that I mean a fight at the end of the game. And Brian Branch, safety for the Lions because of his actions in that, suspended 1 game by the National Football League earlier today. So Brian Branch will miss Monday Night Football next week as Detroit takes on Tampa due to throwing a punch at Juju Smith-Schuster following last night's loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. Quickly, when you look at yesterday's scoreboard, the Jets are awful. Aaron Glenn better be careful. He might be one and done. You want to talk about lethargic and uninspired. The Jets' offense yesterday, good grief, were they bad. Just pitiful. 13-11, they lose to the Broncos. Jets are 0-6. Indianapolis won again. They beat Jacoby Brissett and the Cardinals. So they're now 5-1. Give credit where credit's due. But the one thing I told you guys is going to happen here pretty soon. Here are the Colts' next games coming up. This Sunday, they're at the LA Chargers. Then they're home to Tennessee. Then they're at Pittsburgh. They're international against Atlanta. At Kansas City. Home Houston. At Jacksonville. At Seattle. Home San Francisco. Home Jacksonville. At Houston. They beat up on a lot of bad teams to begin the year. And they only have one bad team left on their schedule, which is week 8 against the Titans. We're going to start finding out a lot more about the Indianapolis Colts. And it begins this Sunday when they head to L.A. to take on Justin Herbert and the L.A. Chargers. More on the Jacksonville Jaguars, more on the National Football League coming up in about 20 minutes or so. Jordan DeLugo, Generation Jaguar, joins me to recap yesterday's loss, to preview L.A. We know Devin Lloyd has already been ruled out of that game for the Jaguars. He did not make the trip to London. Robert Hainsey, the center who missed yesterday, did make the trip to London. Perhaps he can come back. It looks like Ventrell Miller will get the start at linebacker, replacing Devin Lloyd. And we don't know about Puka Nacua, the star wide receiver for the Rams. Hurt his ankle yesterday. Sean McVay listed him as day-to-day. We'll see his availability for Sunday. Keep in mind, the Rams have a bye week after London. Might make sense for them to rest Puka. We'll see how that develops as the week goes on. 1 hour down, 1 hour to go, Jacksonville. We'll take you up till 10 o'clock, as we do every night. Let's talk Billy Napier. Ugh. Let's talk Mike Norvell. Ugh. Next, right here. It's Hacker After Dark.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach. A high-performance machine raises eyebrows and holds your attention.
And play big-time football on a big-time stage.
And so it is with the performance painting high-performance play of the game.
Somebody got to make a play.
On 1010XL.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental. With light sedation for cleaning, then deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
Your home is your sanctuary where memories are made. Jack's homeowners trust Superior Fence and Rail to make their home feel safe, secure, and complete. Imagine a classic wood fence for privacy, sturdy aluminum to protect your pets, or a modern vinyl design that boosts curb appeal. Every fence is built with precision and pride, standing strong in every season.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
When you need plumbing, septic, or air conditioning service, trust matters. That's why more homeowners in Jacksonville choose Duck Duck Rooter, the area's most trusted service company. We're licensed, insured, and the only master septic contractor in Northeast Florida. From small plumbing repairs to major renovations, septic tank pump outs, drain field installations, and full air conditioning service, we do it all. Call 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com. Duck Duck Rooter. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
For your chance to win tickets to see Caitlin Clark, all-time women's college point scorer and WNBA star at the Florida Forum October 29th, text FORUM to the Lifetime Flooring text line at 641-1010.
1010XL is your home for Florida Gators football. Protected by the law firm of Farah and Farah, Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville, and Renewal by Anderson, custom windows and doors. Follow every Gators game on 1010XL.
Brian Wall here with Window World. You know that awesome feeling when you finally find that one place to go to that will give you a top quality product at a great price and then stand behind what they sell you? That's exactly what Window World does. Top quality, energy efficient windows at a great price that keeps more of your money in your bank account, with the absolute best guarantee in the window replacement business. That's why Window World has been the #1 window replacement company in the USA for years, selling more than 1 million windows each year for the past 8 years. That's a lot of satisfied customers, and you can be one too. Save money on installing new energy efficient windows and save on your energy bills too. You can't lose. And if anything goes wrong with your new Window World windows ever, Window World and I will be there to make it right. Call Window World today or see them online and have them come and give you a free estimate and see why we are so proud of our products and the work we do for our customers. Call Window World or go online at windowworldneflorida.com. And thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors. Tickets are on sale now for this year's Florida Forum Speaker Series featuring professional basketball player Caitlin Clark, Russian politician Vladimir Kara-Murza, and chef Jose Andres. The Women's Board of Wolfson Children's Hospital has committed to raising $1.5 million to support the new outdoor play area dedicated to therapists as an expansion of the 20-bed Wolfson Children's Behavioral Health and Wellness. Get your tickets now by clicking thefloridaforum.com.
You deserve something truly exceptional, and that's what you get from Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust's 10th Anniversary Jubilee. Come to Tobacco Cove on Saturday, October 18th from 1 to 4 p.m. because you will not want to miss this. From the mind of Steve Saka, Dunbarton offers the taste of perfection. This event features amazing cigars, delightful food, and awesome prizes. Tobacco Cove, 3849 Bay Meadows Road. More than a cigar store, it's an experience.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
You know, as if the Jaguar loss yesterday to Seattle wasn't bad enough, I'm assuming most of you, not all, I don't want to lump everybody in, but most of you, when it comes to Saturday college football, I'd say a large portion of the audience listening tonight or watching on the stream is probably either a Florida or a Florida State fan. I think that's a safe assumption. Overwhelming majority. How about that? So you had to deal with the nonsense of Mike Norvell and Florida State losing their third game in a row to a true freshman making his second career start, first on the road, and putting 34 on you. which is what Pitt did to Florida State. And then Gator fan, look, I mean, you know, you're used to it at least by now. Billy Napier's been your head coach for 44 games. You've lost 23 of those. Billy Napier has been your coach for 27 SEC games. You've lost 16 of those. And Billy Napier has been your coach for 36 games against Power 4 competition, and you've lost 22 out of those 36. But yet, if you talk to Billy Napier and listen to him in his press conferences, he'll tell you they're close. A play here or a play there. Right? It's going to happen. It's going to turn around. Again, I like Billy. I'm done with Billy. I think both can be true. I like the guy. I just don't want him being the coach at Florida anymore. I've gone sour. I've turned heel to go into wrestling lingo. It's done. It's over. And my question is, why does Penn State pull the plug on James Franklin as quickly as they do? Why does Arkansas cut ties with Sam Pittman when they did? Virginia Tech cut ties with Brent Pry. Oklahoma State fired, I'm a man, I'm 40. UCLA knows it's a disaster with Deshaun Foster. All of those Power 4 teams, decent programs. UCLA, Arkansas, Oklahoma State, Virginia Tech, and now Penn State can all make coaching changes in season. And Scott Strickland and Florida have chosen not to do that, at least as of October 13th at 9:07 Eastern Standard Time. There's no coming back from this for Billy Napier. We know it. Scott Strickland knows it. And Billy Napier knows it. It's over. It's done. They're not any good. They play uninspired. You score 14 points in the first 10 minutes of the game on Saturday. A&M makes adjustments, and all you get is a field goal for the remaining 50 minutes of that game. He won't give up play calling. He's dug his heels in. He's just not going to do it. No, I mean, it's over. And I think the question now, that's not really so much about Billy Napier anymore as it is about Scott Strickland. You have to know that when Penn State fired James Franklin yesterday, that was like the worst possible thing to happen to Scott Strickland. Because you can justify and feed a bunch of nonsense about firing coaches in season or this, that, and the other. The fact of the matter is, James Franklin was in the semifinals of the college football playoff 9 months ago. And he's out at Penn State in the middle of October after losing 3 in a row. Now, did Penn State do it too quickly? Well, that's a conversation for them to have. That's for Pittsburgh and Philadelphia and Happy Valley Sports Talk Radio to have. Looking at it from afar, they saw a problem. They saw a team underachieving. They saw issues in the program. They did something about it quickly. Florida has chosen to go on and on and on with this nonsense for now 44 games, of which they have lost 23 of them. Will he get fired after Mississippi State? I don't know. I think if they lose Saturday, absolutely. Maybe if they win Saturday, who knows? I think he'll coach against Georgia. A week and a half ago, I was convinced he was. I'm not convinced of that anymore. I think the pressure is starting to get ramped up on Strickland now. The pressure's gone off of Napier. Who cares? He knows he's gone. The pressure now is starting to feed into Scott Strickland. That people are going after him, knowing he needs to do something. And the Penn State situation did not help his case at all for not doing something. Let's go to Gainesville. I don't even want to talk about Mississippi State, the game. Who cares, right? That's pathetic. That's where we are. It's homecoming. We should be excited about this game. Who cares? The story is Billy Napier. And maybe the bigger story is, why has Scott Strickland not done anything about this? Andrew Spivey, GatorCountry.com, has some really interesting thoughts about this whole situation. Gator fans, get your popcorn ready. I think you're going to enjoy this. Andrew Spivey, GatorCountry.com, next, right here. It's Hacker After Dark.
1010XL is committed to getting you closer to your favorite players. That's why we sent Jags beat reporter Hayes Carlyon to bring you back one-on-one interviews in the locker room. Unsealed by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal, you look troubled. Is something bugging you?
This friendship isn't all upside for me, Jason. People keep asking me stuff about you.
They ask you about me?
Is it really cooler with Bueller, they ask? So I say, totally. And they say, how do you mean that? And I say, he fixes air conditioners, which literally makes somebody cool. But he also has cool sunglasses and cool people and a cool family.
And I try to make working at Bueller Air and Plumbing a really cool experience for our technicians and plumbers. We treat our people like gold, and they treat our homeowners the exact same way.
Great. Well, now there's another cool thing I've got to remember. This is a lot of responsibility, Jason.
Life can get hectic sometimes. If you don't take a moment to slow down and appreciate all the cool parts, you could miss it.
Do people ask you about me at all?
Weirdly, they do.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Hey Jacksonville, Rick Ballou here. Looking for a brand new truck? Right now, Crew Cab Ram trucks start at just $38,900 at Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram West Side. And every new retail purchase comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty and no extra cost. From tough Ram trucks to adventure ready Jeeps, they've got the perfect ride waiting for you. Stop by Commonwealth Avenue or shop online at jackswest.com. Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram West Side, proud partner of the Jaguars.
Julington Creek Pest Control has been serving our community since 1984. Our turf management program is an all-out blitz, granular fertilization, weed and insect control, keeping your lawn championship green all year. Quarterly pest control stops bugs before they ever cross your goal line. Family owned, locally operated, expert technicians, top quality products, no gimmicks, just winning results. Julington Creek Pest Control, our family serving yours since 1984.
Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialist congratulating our Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Michaela Log, a senior swimmer, soccer, and lacrosse player at Fletcher High. Michaela is a member of the National Honor Society, an officer in Interact, and will attend the University of North Florida.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees, about $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by November 6th.
Jacksonville, archery season is here, and nobody does archery like Green Acres Sporting Goods, home of the largest archery pro shop in Northeast Florida. Come test shoot the newest bows from Matthews, Hoyt, Raven, and all the top brands. And starting this month, take advantage of Florida's sales tax holiday on all Second Amendment related items, running now through the end of the year. You can find it all at greenacresporting.com.
Mike Dempsey for Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jacksonville Beach. If your roof's got any damage, if it leaks, if it's just old and ugly, call my friends at Apex Roofing. But Mike, roofs are so expensive. It's true, quality roofing is not cheap, but Apex Roofing has up to 100% financing available, so you don't have to compromise quality for budget. Apex Roofing, no shortcuts, no stress, just quality work with financing available. Reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacksonville Beach. ApexRoofingFL.com.
Brackish Vodka, the spirit of the sportsman and proud partner of the Jaguars, is now available at the Fresh Market Spirits and Wine. The Fresh Market Spirits and Wine is a new adult beverage store offering spirits, wine, beer, and accessories at A1A North in Ponte Vedra, a first-of-its-kind destination for thoughtfully curated spirits, wine, and beer as only the Fresh Market can. And now, you can get Brackish Vodka at the Fresh Market. Brackish Vodka, for whatever your sport is. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Florida and Mississippi State, Saturday, 4:15. You'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. Florida 2-4 on the year after another loss on Saturday in College Station. And now it's almost like it's just a waiting game, right? It's not a matter of if, but when Billy Napier is let go. Gator fans probably hoped it would already have happened. It has not yet. Let's talk about all of it with Andrew Spivey, GatorCountry.com, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Andrew, I imagine it's a very busy time for you down there in Gainesville.
Absolutely. And, I hate to say this, Ryan, but I think listening may be down a little bit on Saturday. I think most fans have said, forget it. It's over with.
Yeah, I wonder if that'll be down and what the attendance will be like at homecoming with Mississippi State coming in. All right, the bottom line is they're 2-4. That's the reality. People want Billy gone. And the fact that Penn State cut ties with James Franklin as quickly as they did does not leave a good taste in Gator fans' mouths for what Scott Strickland is doing with this situation, correct?
No, I mean, Penn State, I would say, is in a much better place as a program than Florida is right now. I mean, heck, they were, a contender last year, 2 years ago was in the college football playoffs. They were, considered one of the top teams in the country this year. And, they lost 3 games that were just embarrassing losses. But, still at Florida, you would probably take that. You would probably trade places with Penn State right now and take that just because of how bad things have been. And, to see Penn State move on says, hey, they're serious about football, whereas Florida's not serious about football. Scott Strickland's not serious about winning football games at Florida. Because, quite frankly, this is the same thing that's been going on for 3 years now, or 4 years now. It is a football team that has no identity, that, doesn't have a drive in some games, that looks like they've quit in some games, that, offensively has no rhythm. There's no setting things up to get things going. They're a talented roster, one of the most talented rosters in the country with playmakers everywhere, but yet you can't seem to find any kind of rhythm outside of scripted play calls. And, Saturday was just another game for Billy of what if you were a decent play caller? What if you were a decent football coach? What would have been, different in that game? And I think you can argue Florida had as much talent, if not more talent, than A&M, but they were outcoached.
Andrew Spivey, GatorCountry.com. Andrew, I hate the fact that we're here because I don't even know if I'm going to ask you about the game on Saturday. I mean, here we are in the month of October, and we're not talking about anything with relation to what's going to happen on Saturday. It's all about Billy Napier, Billy Napier, Billy Napier, and that's a shame, but it's the reality. You're connected over there, man. You've covered that program for a long time. Let me flat out ask you, why has Scott Strickland not pulled the plug yet? What is the deal?
Scott likes a yes man, and he's got one. Scott feels like his, resume fails if Billy fails. And, quite frankly, Scott got the insurance he needed. He got his extension. Now he needs to do what's best for the program. And, you're in the same boat you were last year. At this time last year, we were thinking, when is it over with? It has to be over with soon. And then they had the run late in the season. But what coach, Brian, and there, I'm sure there was somebody, but what coach has had that moment where fans have said, all right, he's done. They've won a couple games and then fixed it long term. I don't know that there's been very many. So it's one of those things where it's like, you knew it was coming. It was just, why are we prolonging this? And that's exactly what Scott Strickland's doing. He's prolonging it, hoping that it gets fixed. And the simple answer is it's not going to get fixed. 4 years is enough time, especially in this day and age of NIL where you can, rebuild a roster overnight, season to season. It's not. You have the roster. You've had the buy-in from the boosters. You've had every bit of buy-in from the university and the administration. You have everything you need to win. but a coach and a coaching staff and a play caller to do it. There's no player or coach that can come into this team and change Billy Napier from play calling, and that's what's losing football games.
You know, you look at Billy's resume there, all right, and it's obviously not good, but when you look at all the numbers, 21-23 is the record under Billy Napier. The Gators are 11-16 in SEC play, and maybe the most disturbing number, they're 14-22 against Power 4 opponents. All right, why Strickland hasn't done it is beyond all of us. So let's focus on Billy now for a second. Andrew, why didn't it work? Why is it going to be over in a couple of weeks? What failed at Florida with Billy Napier?
Stubbornness, not willing to adapt and change, not willing to adjust, and I had this question asked to me earlier today, and they said, what wins at Florida? And I said, what wins at Florida is an ego and I'm going to do it my way person. Steve Spurrier, Urban Meyer, they've shown that. They do it their way. Great coaches do it their way. They don't take advice from anybody else. They do it their way. Billy Napier is not that guy. He doesn't get that he can't call plays. He's still living in the era of I'm going to show Dabo Sweeney and Steve Sarkisian that I'm a great play caller. Well, guess what? You're the head football coach of the University of Florida, which is better than the University of Clemson, and at one time was better than the University of Texas. Why are you trying to prove yourself to him? You came in to Florida and you said, hey, I'm the CEO type of coach that nothing is going to go on in this program without passing my desk. Well, there's been a lot of things at Florida that's going on that have been an absolute disaster. We can start with the Rashada stuff. We can start with 12 men on the field at all times, special teams blunders. You name it, it's happened at Florida, and it's continued to happen. So you want to talk about being the CEO, but you are failing consistently in the program. Your play calling is just horrible. Boosters administration, they've asked you for 2 years to give up play calling. You won't give it up because you keep saying that you're the best person for the job. That's not the case, Ryan. We've seen that for 2 years, 3 years. After the scripted plays are called, this offense is atrocious. I was telling someone earlier, you had Cassius Howell at defensive end, and yes, he was abusing Austin Barber all night long. Ryan, you cover the NFL. How many days and games do you ever play one-on-one with the best defensive player on the game? Right. You don't. You have somebody chipped there. So what are you doing? Why are you allowing one guy to take you out of that? And it's simple. Billy Napier doesn't know what he's doing.
Andrew Spivey, GatorCountry.com. And you got to read the room, too. I mean, and I get that it's frustrating on their part, but it kind of comes with the territory of being on that staff when things aren't going well. When the GM of the football program goes on social media after the Texas game and basically mocks the fan base by tweeting out the Sunbelt Billy thing, and then he's nowhere to be found after they get boat raced by Texas A&M, again, that's just not a good look, correct?
And he deletes the tweet after he gets called out. So It's like, somebody had to go tell him this. But here's the problem. You have a young GM that's 30-some years old trying to run a massive program in the University of Florida when he wasn't doing a good job in recruiting. So they moved him to GM where he was supposed to be this, over the entire program. It wasn't good, Ryan. Like that's not the case. You can go back and look, why did it take till year 4 before the defense looked really good? It's because he went through all of his friends to get to a defensive coordinator who could call plays. He went through Patrick Toney, and then he went through Austin Armstrong, friends of his, that to get to where he is. And that's ultimately what's going to hurt him is that case of not knowing and not recognizing that the University of Florida is not ULL. And it cracks me up with some of these guys who work for Saban, and it's like they didn't learn anything from him. Nick Saban was loyal to one person and one person only, and that's himself and to the university. Billy Napier and some of these other guys that have been through the door that have been his assistants and failed, they're too loyal to things. They didn't learn anything from Nick Saban when he was there of, hey, you have to do what's best for the program. And Unfortunately, Billy Napier's just not that guy. And, he's a great person off the field, but he's not fit to be the University of Florida head football coach. It takes a special person to do it. He's not the guy.
All right, as we begin to wrap up, let's go quick here. Obviously, all the names that are being talked about, and again, I absolutely hate that we're doing this, but it is what everybody wants to know. Lane Kiffin, yes or no? Would that be a fit? Is there interest on both sides, or is there only interest from one side, as I've been told? I don't know how interested Florida actually is there.
Lane Kiffin would be a home run hire. Scott Strickland, if he's making the call, will not hire Lane Kiffin.
Right, and that's kind of what I've been told through the grapevine. Do we have any reasoning as to why that would be the case, if that is indeed true?
Because Lane would be bigger ego than Scott, and Lane would not be a yes man to Scott. Lane would do things his way.
Brent Key, Eli Drinkowitz.
Eli's the guy Scott likes. He's a yes man, but I've heard that Eli is very comfortable at Missouri, where there's hardly no pressure there. I don't think he'd be a fit at Florida. He is goofy Dan Mullen, and I'm not sure that goofiness is good at Florida. Obviously, he knows how to coach offense and win games. Just not sure his personality fits Florida, but that's a guy Scott Strickland does like.
What about Brent Key?
Heard Brent Key's name a lot, that they like him, but I've heard Brent Key is, at home at Georgia Tech where he played, and that he has no interest in that. Florida's done some, backdoor talks already with him over the past, year to kind of see his interest, and he's told them all along, I'm not interested.
Kurt Cignetti.
That's a name that I've heard just from Booster side of things, not from the Florida side of things. He'll listen. Kurt will listen. I think he'd be great. I really do. The problem there is, how long do you have him? He's an older guy. How long do you have him? I'm not sure of that, and I'm not sure of Scott's opinion on him.
All right, I've mentioned 4 guys. Is there anybody else? Would they call Marcus Freeman, make him tell you no? Would you call Dan Lanning, make him tell you no? Is there any other name that you're hearing?
Yeah, I mean, they'll call Lanning, and they're going to call Marcus Freeman. Those are guys that they're going to call. I've heard, James Franklin may be a name because there's no buyout there. I think that would be absolutely, terrible. Alex Golish or whatever, USF is a name that I've heard, that some people behind the scenes like a lot. But I've also heard that, they really want to go to a Power 4 conference guy, somebody that's proven that they can do it, on a big stage, and that they're tired of the lower level guys. And you could understand that. Problem is, it's going to be tough because you're bottom top Power 4 school right now. You're not exactly an attractive hire or a job right now, in my opinion.
Final question. I believe they're going to beat Mississippi State. But, Andrew, if they lose on Saturday, he's gone on Sunday, correct? You can't lose homecoming to go to 2-5 and stay around for Georgia, can you?
I'm going to be honest. I think he's gone no matter what. I really do.
Wow,
I think he's gone no matter what. But I'm also picking Mississippi State to win the game on Saturday. I think Levy is doing really good there and is getting a program, on the right track. Corey Bell's on the defensive side of the ball doing really well. They're a couple yards away from being 5-1. I mean, they had Tennessee on the ropes. They had A&M on the ropes. I have Mississippi State winning, but no matter what, I think going into Jacksonville in 2 weeks that you have an interim coach, probably in Jabbar Jalou, or maybe even Ron Roberts as your interim coach. I don't think that the fan base is going to be okay with Billy Napier coaching that Georgia game.
All right. Could be very interesting in Gainesville, one way or the other, coming up this Saturday. Again, 4:15, homecoming against Mississippi State. You'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. Andrew Spivey, GatorCountry.com. Andrew, terrific stuff, man. Thank you as always. We'll talk again soon, pal.
Absolutely, Ryan. Take care.
In life, only the best things stand the test of time, like radio play-by-play.
I think it's bigger than it seems, and if you're one of these players or one of these coaches, it's the biggest thing in your life.
Your home for the most play-by-play is 1010XL.
Strap in, Duval. The Jaguars are gearing up to face the Los Angeles Chargers Sunday, November 16th for our annual Salute to Service game. Join us as we honor and celebrate the brave men and women of our military all game long. Secure your seats now and be a part of the action by visiting jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. Let's stand together, Duval.
This right here, this is where it starts. With a little flame and a lot of love. When the air cools or the night falls, fire brings the warmth. But it's what we bring to the table that matters. Slow smoked barbecue. Stories that stretch long. Laughter that lingers. And moments that just feel full. That's why it's always Sonny's here.
Post-game Monday on 1010XL. Served by Tandy Foods, making quality fresh sandwiches since 1956.
In a world where chains seem to take over, it's awesome to have a locally owned retailer who's only focused on Jacksonville. Beard's Diamonds is the perfect example. Hicken here. All those jewelers in Town Center are owned by big Wall Street companies, but Beard's Diamonds, they are local, man. Say hi to the Lupos when you get in there. They've been around and serving our area for more than 40 years. And Beard's runs circles around the big chains. Massive diamond inventory, Beard's. All the top bridal brands, Beard's. Strongest warranties, Beard's. Beard's wins on price every day. They don't have extra markups to please Wall Street or pay commission salespeople. In fact, Beard's guarantees to beat any national chain store on price. So don't buy anywhere until you at least get a second opinion at Beard's. I am sure you'll get a bigger, better quality diamond for your money, and it'll be backed by local folks with integrity and local accountability. Man, in a world where generic chain stores pop up everywhere, refreshing to see a local place that can give you a great diamond. Don't buy a diamond in Jacksonville without seeing your best option at Beard's Diamonds. Shop local, shop Beard's at the St. John's Town Center.
Grab your cowboy hat for the Beach Barbecue Bash, presented by Sunshine State Plumbing and Reliable Ducks. Thursday, October 30th. Live music, sizzling barbecue, and Southern Charm, supporting Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida. Get tickets at bgcnf.org.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here. You've heard me talking about Pella Windows and Doors. With great ratings and expert reviews, you know they're high quality and energy efficient products. So what's your next step? Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or just stop by the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. Their professional design consultants will guide you through your entire project from start to finish. And that's the quality and service you can expect from Pella Windows and Doors.
When you need a mechanic you can trust, call Sam, Harry, or Joe at AA Automotive on Richard Street. From oil changes to complex engine repairs, AA Automotive promises expert service and honest pricing from a local family biz. AA Automotive on Richard Street.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars now 4-2 after their loss to Seattle on Sunday. They now are in London as they are going over there to take on the Los Angeles Rams before the bye week in what all of a sudden is a pretty big crossroads type game for Jacksonville in week number 7. Let's talk about all of it with Jordan DeLugo of Generation Jaguar. Jordan's always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Jordan, how we doing, man?
Oh, doing all right. Appreciate you having me on, as always. Love talking some Jags football with you, so fired up to get into it even after a loss.
Yeah, look, it was a bad performance all the way around. And I think first and foremost, the offensive line. My gracious, Jordan, 7 sacks. You take into account almost times 3 of that with pressures. In fact, over times 3. I think 25 pressures were recorded on Trevor Lawrence. That was a bad performance. Now, the question is that a one-off or is there an offensive line problem here in Jacksonville?
Yeah, I think you start with Robert Hainsey not being out there. And that is an issue for this team. Jonah Monheim did a really good job in the game against the Chiefs when he had to come in and substitute for Robert Hainsey and kind of holding down the fort. And having to go out there and start, and your opponent knowing that you're having a rookie who might not know everything that Robert Hainsey knows the way he knows it and doesn't have that experience, I think that is, a potential problem against Mike McDonald, a wonderful, brilliant defensive coach and a defensive front that boasts a lot of talent. So you start there, and that's, going to be potentially problematic. But then you also just have, in my opinion, guys getting beat one-on-one and on games and stunts up front where they don't look mentally or physically prepared for some of the assignments that they had. They weren't able to rely on their technique and their fundamentals. And you ultimately saw one of the worst offensive line performances I can remember in Jacksonville. I mean, that was unbelievable. And I know some folks might say, well, Trevor Lawrence was holding on to the ball too long. When you're under pressure and you feel like you have nowhere to go with the ball and you get sacked, you're going to have a slightly higher time to throw than if you're seeing things cleanly. That's just kind of the way things work. But overall, were there some moments that Trevor Lawrence could have done a little bit better job maybe navigating it? Yeah, but when you're under fire that way, I mean, that is really difficult to deal with. And I can't remember many times worse for the Jaguars offensive line.
Jordan DeLugo, Generation Jaguar. To that point, I want to say it was our buddy D-Rock, Mike DiRocco from ESPN, who tweeted this out. Statistically, if you look at number of dropbacks compared to the amount of times Trevor received pressures on Sunday, it was the worst offensive line performance in an NFL regular season game in 3 years. I think you have to go back to 2022, a game between the Titans and the Chiefs, to where you had a worse offensive line performance, which is probably not good, seeing as how you got Jared Verse and the Rams waiting on you over there at Wembley Stadium on Sunday. We'll get to that in a moment. Craig Newsome comes in, and the first play that he's a part of the Jaguars, it's a 61-yard touchdown. Now, I think since the game, it's being pointed out that there was probably some miscommunication. Potentially, he thought there was going to be a safety over the top. But nevertheless, not a good look for your brand-new corner to come in the first play. He becomes burnt toast for a 61-yard touchdown.
Yeah, and, he was obviously not in position to make a play on the ball, but he wasn't like he was, 5 yards behind the guy either. But, yeah, I think he definitely expected Dewey Wingard to be there. And if Dewey was there, would he have made the play? I'm not sure, right? Sam Darnold is on an unbelievable heater right now throwing the ball. And when he's not getting pressure in his face, he can deliver it accurately to all levels of the field. And then you've got Jackson Smith and Jigba, who, outside of Jamar Chase, I mean, is anybody playing better football right now at the wide receiver position, at least that the Jaguars have faced so far this year? I don't think so. That guy is a masterful route runner, really good at the catch point as well. So the Seahawks just had some things clicking for them that the Jaguars didn't. Again, pass rush wise, the Seahawks had it. The Jaguars didn't really have it. And then you also have, like you mentioned, Greg Newsome. He got to Jacksonville on Thursday, was expected to play a football game against the Seahawks on Sunday. And, I don't think he's going to be fully integrated into this system likely until after the bye, which isn't too far from now. But, you have the London game, which will be his second trip to London in 3 weeks, I believe, and then the bye week. And then I think you can start to feel like, okay, this guy's had enough time to really get integrated into the system. But overall, again, I think on that one, you needed to have the safety help on the middle.
Now, look, if it's any consolation, not that it helps the Jaguars at all, but Tyson Campbell wasn't any better in Cleveland. DK Metcalf kind of tore him up yesterday as well. So it was not good debuts for either Campbell in Cleveland or Newsome here in Jacksonville. Hopefully that'll change here as we move forward. A couple of more for Jordan DeLugo of Generation Jaguar. Jordan, they need to get the ball to Travis Hunter down the field more, man. I mean, Brian Thomas Jr. had 10 targets. Travis Hunter had 7. There's not a big disparity there, but he only caught 4 balls for 15 yards, and one of those was an 11-yard play where he had to make a guy miss. I don't understand, and I'm sure there's logic to it, but I don't understand why they're not going downfield to Travis Hunter more.
Yeah, I agree. I think you've seen it a little bit more at times throughout the last month. I just, again, thinking about anything down the field in this specific game and being critical of like the passing attack, it starts up front. And when you don't have any comfortability in the pocket, when you don't have any time to think back there, it's difficult, right? It is really difficult. Even if they did have him dialed up on some more routes down the field, would it even have mattered, right? That type of thing in this one for me. And even with that, they still had so many opportunities that just kind of, for Brian Thomas Jr. and some others, slipped through their hands in big moments. So even with that pressure, the onslaught of pressure, they still had their opportunities and couldn't take advantage of them.
Yeah, there's no doubt. There were opportunities. They did not play well at all, but having said that, it was still a one-possession game in the fourth quarter. The penalties. Jordan, you and I were out there at training camp, 2 months ago now, and I remember they did an entire 30-minute period where they just did pre-snap. They didn't even snap the ball. They got people lined up properly because Liam Cohen was so frustrated after one of the preseason games. And now here we are 6 weeks in the middle of October, and you're still getting so many pre-snap situations, the penalties. I mean, that's got to drive Liam Cohen absolutely crazy.
Yeah, and he might be looking at needing to do one of those again this week and next week and the week after. I don't know, those little periods of just getting it lined up. But I will say, a Liam Cohen offense, offensive system that kind of comes from Sean McVay, there is so much pre-snap movement and communication. It lends itself a little bit to being more penalty heavy, penalty prone, but it needs to be a little cleaner than it has been. There's no question about that. And then you just look at one of the strangest plays of the day. Should have been an interception for the Seahawks, and it should have been a touchdown for the Jaguars, and it all doesn't matter because Travis Hunter's called for offsides, and he said that, he communicated with the official, and he wasn't offsides, but, he said whatever. That doesn't matter at this point. What matters is the penalty was called, and it negated a play that would have changed the game. So you have just little moments where I think this is a young team in a lot of ways. It's a quarterback in a new system. It's a coach who has never had to deal with the entire program before and calling plays. And I just still think that they've got some wrinkles to work out here, some kinks to work out over the next several weeks. And who knows how long it takes. I mean, maybe it takes all year for them to get it together in terms of not having all these pre-snap issues.
Final moments, Jordan DeLugo, Generation Jaguar. Jordan, I want to leave time to preview the Rams, so about 30 seconds here. Do the Jaguars have a kicking problem? Are you concerned about Cam Little?
Yeah, I don't know how you could not be concerned at this point. I mean, it's been about a month where it just feels shaky, and then yesterday was the shakiest of all performances for him so far. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's the first time he's ever missed an extra point in his entire career, not talking NFL, but back to the college days and beyond that. I mean, that guy doesn't miss extra points, and it was a bad miss, and then a bad missed field goal as well. So I think you've got issues, and I mean, Logan Cook isn't up to his standard either. So both of your guys who seem like all-world talents, kicker and punter, not helping you win games right now.
All right, as we look ahead, as you take a deep breath, right, 4-2, I think anybody listening tonight would have taken 4-2 back on Labor Day. If I would have said, all right, the Jaguars will be 4-2 heading to London, everybody would have signed on the dotted line. And quite frankly, if you say you would not have, I would have trouble believing that. So I think 4-2 is still in a good position. Having said that, to me, this is a real crossroads game. You got the bye week afterwards. If you go over there and if you beat the Rams, you're 5-2, and the Seattle game is absolutely forgotten and all is right with the world. If you go over there and you lose to the Rams, you're 4-3, and you have a lot of questions going into the bye with back-to-back road games coming out of the bye. Jordan, Sunday at Wembley Stadium, to me, is enormous for this football team.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's A, the next game, but B, it's, an opportunity to respond to adversity. And what we've seen from them so far is an ability to respond to adversity, both week to week and in games. They didn't really respond to the adversity in the Seattle game, but they have an opportunity to, on a weird week where they have to travel to London, all that stuff, get right and just get more, I think, mentally and physically prepared to win a football game, because they did not seem to be all there. I mean, on every level, they did not seem to be all there against the Seahawks. But you're absolutely right. They're 4-2. and everything is in front of them still, right? If the playoffs started today, they'd be in the playoffs. They'd be the 5 seed. They'd be in a good spot. I think that their goal is not to be the 5 seed, and you've seen reports about maybe adding a defensive front type of guy via trade. They might not be done with trading. The Jaguars are a team that has a lot of aspirations in 2025. For them to get where they want, they need to be able to respond to adversity, and I think they need to be able to do it this week against the Los Angeles Rams.
It's a big one. There's no doubt about that. When you combine the Liam Cohen, James Gladstone factor, their former organization, obviously the relationship that Liam Cohen has with Sean McVay, that Les Snead has with James Gladstone, there will certainly be a lot of intrigue about this game. One of the better London games we get to see. It just happens to involve the 4-2 Jaguars taking on the 4-2 Los Angeles Rams. Jordan DeLugo, Generation Jaguar. Jordan, tell the good folks here in Jacksonville, man, the coverage you guys will have as we head over to London to take on the Rams on Sunday.
Yeah, we'll just be doing it pretty much, how we've been doing it every week throughout the season, talking about this Seahawks game, talking about what you need to be getting going over the next couple of days, and then previewing hot and heavy bold predictions, matchups to watch, all that stuff for Jaguars and Rams, and it can all be found over at genjag.com or on our YouTube or podcast platforms, GenJag.
Jordan, I know you're busy. Appreciate the time, man. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks so much for having me on, Hacker.
And thank you to Jordan DeLugo, Generation Jaguar, for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark to look back against Seattle and the loss yesterday. Look, it is what it is. The Jaguars were beat up on the line of scrimmage. Their offensive line was beat up. Their defensive line did not really put a lot of pressure on Sam Darnold. They committed penalties. They missed kicks. It was not good by any stretch of the imagination. Having said all that, it was still a 20-12 game, and Jacksonville had the ball with 4 minutes to go. So I guess that's the silver lining in all of it. If that's the glass half full approach you want to look at, that's fair. They played terribly and were still in the game with about 4 minutes to go. Now, they have a huge one on Sunday, Wembley Stadium, London, England. We'll be talking about it all week. You're either going to be 5-2 going into the bye, or you're going to be 4-3 with a lot of questions going into the bye. And it is a gigantic matchup on Sunday against the LA Rams, and we will certainly preview it all week long here on Hacker After Dark. So a majority of our show was certainly spent on the Jaguars. We also did spend some time on the Florida Gators and that disaster going on down there. Florida now 2-4 on the year. That brings Billy Napier to 21 wins and 23 losses as the head coach of Florida. 11-16 against SEC competition. And I believe the most discouraging number is Florida is 14-22. 8 games below 500 against Power 4 competition in the Billy Napier era. The good news is every press conference you hear Billy Napier do, he keeps saying about how close they are. And I guess he'll just continue saying that, and Florida will continue losing games until something is ultimately done down there in Gainesville about that. So we spent a lot of time on that as well, and that will just about do it for a Monday night edition of Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate all you guys hanging out with us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. We have a ton of people to thank. Jordan DeLugo, Generation Jaguar. Always appreciate Jordan joining us here on Hacker After Dark. Thank you to one of my guys in Gainesville, Andrew Spivey, GatorCountry.com. I thought Andrew had some pretty poignant points about everything transpiring down in Gainesville. And we appreciate Andrew, quite frankly, his honesty on everything going on down there surrounding Billy Napier and, quite frankly, why he still has a job as the Florida head football coach. And back in hour number 1, speaking of head coaches, it's always a little Monday night coaching with Campo as my buddy Dave Campo joined me to react to Seattle and look ahead to the LA Rams. Now, we will be back tomorrow night on a Tuesday, and we will do it all over again beginning at 8 o'clock. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Denmark